L-A-T-D Nation, welcome back to the channel. Of course, it's your boy Jay.
RG from the 843, as always.
And we got our friend back.
Back in the crib, bro.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
It's Zai over here. What's good?
Yes, sir. So today we got a special sequel for y'all, man. Well, special review to a sequel that came out back in 2021.
Can't believe it's been that long ago. I was going in my senior year. Yeah, I was going in my senior year of college.
Yeah.
Shit. Don't call me old in the
I
comments.
was in junior year. Well, junior/senior.
Yeah, no, you don't call us old. That's all I know.
Facts.
Anyway, we're going to be looking at the details of The Black Phone 2, starring Ethan Hawke as the grabber, Mason Thames, or Thames as Thames?
Yeah.
Or Thomas?
Something like that.
Something like that. As Finney.
I didn't know Thames don't sound right, so let's go with Thames.
All right, and Madeline McGraw as Gwen.
Yes, returning from 2021's Black Phone, which was a surprising box office success. You know, It kind of turned a lot of people's heads. I didn't really expect it to be as good as it was. I didn't expect it to be as successful. I think it went on to be one of the more successful Blumhouse movies that have been released, maybe ever, actually. I think this, along with Smile, are like the two kind of flagship franchises that they have. That maybe Happy Death Day, if anybody remembers that.
I do remember that one. That one was good.
That actually wasn't bad.
A lot of people say they don't like it. I personally liked it.
It's
that
corny.
and the first and second one.
It's corny on purpose.
Yeah.
It's kind of a little bit jokey, but yeah, Black Phone 2 picks up in 1982, so about 4 years where the last one left off. And as we already know, the end of the movie, spoilers, he was this being Finney, whatever you want to call him. The first one, it ended with him having escaped the grabber, as he's called, and coming back to his school and kind of being revered as this sort of hero. Because as we know in the first one, he was kind of this timid sort of get beat up, kind of, give me your lunch money, head ass type of individual. But he really grew into his own over the course of the first movie. And, it sort of ended with that. What really stuck out in my mind, he said, "Call me Finn." And I was like, oh yeah. Because when the movie first starts, you're like, oh man, you feel bad for him. But by the end of the movie, you're like, I ain't worried about my nigga. I ain't worried about him. He got it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, right off the gate, I thought the first movie was great as well. Because I agree. Finn was definitely all of those things times 20. Like, I hated the way he kept getting beat up in the beginning of the movie. But by the end of it, like, you see him coming to his own as a man. But it's a shame that it took him getting kidnapped by a supernatural being and being talked to by dead people in order for him to realize it.
For him to grow a spine.
Yeah.
Now, in this one, Finney is definitely older, definitely wiser, and he don't take no crap from nobody.
It's about 4 years later. So, he's about 18 or something like that, I think.
Yeah, something like that. Something around there, 17, 18. And he don't take no mess from nobody. I don't want to say how the movie starts, per se. Well, it's not really a spoiler. But how the movie started, how Black Phone started, and how the first movie started, him getting beaten up.
It's the inverse.
Yeah, exactly. It's the complete opposite. He was beating people down, talking about, like, apparently people was talking smack about him getting kidnapped by Ethan Hawke, or the grabber, and saying that, you don't look so tough type stuff. And he said, well, let me show you what these hands do. Yeah.
He's become almost kind of like this boogeyman of his high school, essentially.
Yeah. Gwen is pretty much about the same as she was in the first one. Still, yeah, let's have him more shy.
I think she was the more social one of the two at the beginning when it came to the first one.
Yeah.
She was kind of the more accepted one, if I remember. Finn was kind of the one that was kind of to himself.
Right.
Which that's sort of still the case, but now he's just more confident.
Yeah, right. I agree. And with Gwen, like I said, she's essentially just the same, though. Yeah. Like, she's the same. Well, she's still the same foul-mouthed girl that she was in the first movie, who could see other people's dreams and dead people and stuff like that. And right off the gate, as much as I did like this movie, I think the first one was a lot better. Okay. In my personal opinion, because I feel like it was more focused in its premise. You know what I'm saying? Because we see how Finney becomes who he is in the second movie. He gets beaten up, like we mentioned in the first movie. He gets bullied all the time. He has this one friend that stands up for him. Robin, exactly. And then we see that it's about the grabber and Finney's dynamic. You know what I'm saying? But mostly about the grabber and him picking kidnapping these kids and everything.
Kind of like revealing like why he does what he does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I am still kind of confused on why he does it, just because he's crazy.
I guess because why not?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it worked for Mike Myers or Michael Myers. Not to be confused with Shrek.
Yeah, I'm about to say, wait, Mike Myers, Shrek, but Michael Myers definitely like this dude. It focuses. It has just more focus and more grounded, and in reality, because around that time there was a big scandal, even probably today, about kids going missing and kidnappings and stuff like that.
It kind of plays on that whole that era and sort of the paranoia around kids getting kidnapped and stuff like that. You had stuff like the Zodiac Killer, Jeffrey Dahmer, so it kind of plays to that era.
Exactly, because it being around 1978, y'all already know.
Sure. Seems a bit accurate.
But like I said, this movie was just a little less focused. It's kind of like how
more scatterbrain.
Maybe just a tad bit more scatterbrain, or at least in the same sense how Megan was back in earlier this year. The first Megan back a couple years ago, and then the second Megan here.
Still gotta watch that one.
And this year, yeah, exactly. Like how the first Megan was more or less another monster slasher movie. This one was more of a action combat movie type deal.
Facts.
And in the opposite, in the same case with this one, the second movie is how the first movie was more about this self-contained story or closed up room type story. I don't know exactly what the terminology is. And this one being more about the demon possessed comes to get you type stuff. You know what I'm saying?
He come to collect. Chickens come home to roost.
Right. That type of deal. And other than that, that's really the only bad I can really say about this movie, because everything that made the first movie great is in this one.
For sure.
Yeah.
And from the characters, which that's another flaw with the movie too. Some of the characters aren't as interesting as I feel like they should be, other than the character Armando, played by Damien
Played by Damien.
Yeah,
played by Damien.
Played by him. Y'all know who it is. It's just that he other than him, he was kind of the only other character. But the actors do still do good with what they have.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? But that's really all the flaws I got. Now all the good points I got with it, like I said, it was just as good the characters do just as well as the first one.
The character work to me is even better almost.
Okay, go ahead.
I think so, because I feel because the thing is that they kind of reverse the roles that the two siblings have in the first movie, whereas the first movie was more so Finn's story. This one is more so focused on Gwen.
Right.
I mean, Finn is still there, and we still kind of deal with the after effects of what Finn experienced, but this is primarily a story centered on Gwen. She's kind of the main catalyst for everything going on. And I think that was actually a very successful reversal, because she does a really good job. Madeline McGraw is really, really good. Yeah. She definitely held her own in the same way that Mason Thames did his thing in the first one. She definitely goes toe-to-toe for sure.
Yeah, no.
And it was a big task, in my opinion, because I feel like they're given a lot more in terms of, not just the location, not just in terms of the amount of people that they interact with, but just the themes and just what they experienced in this movie. She kind of has a big task, if you ask me, and she really does deliver.
Right. I 100% agree with you on that, Bells. All right, what you got, bro?
I mean, as far as the first one, I did like the first one, but the second one kind of kept my attention more. Okay. Only because the movie was good, but I was more focused on when he started and how he started the whole mass killing and kidnapping. Yeah. So getting that insight on his origin kind of kept me more invested into the second movie.
Yeah, no, I agree with that too. Because hearing his origin story definitely was one of my favorite parts.
Yeah, it was like a mind opener. Like, okay, that's why so that's where it started.
And this is what happened to their mother, and this is why this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
And I like the message on it too about dealing with grief and letting things go instead of just drowning out your struggles. And it's like it was a really admirable attempt though.
I agree, and I think that they did a good job. Because that was actually something that kind of surprised me. I didn't expect it to explore that idea as in depth as it did. Right. And I think that was actually a surprising thing for me. And I think it was executed pretty well.
Yeah, I 100% agree, man. It's just, It's just like I said, bro. It's not as good as the first one for me, but it's still passable. It's serviceable. Yeah. Like, did it need to be here? No, not really.
Yeah. I don't know. I actually think that this movie was pretty. For me, I felt like it was essential in terms of like what it did for the characters and the after effect of it. Okay. I feel like the movie justifies its existence. I think Ethan Hawke does just as well as he did in the first one. They give him more to do, kind of exploring his origin, what made him who he is. Yeah. And just overall, you could tell he's still having the time of his life playing this character, kind of playing against type. Yeah. They got this nigga over here skating in this one with an axe.
I thought that was kind of funny. I will say this movie is definitely scarier than the first one.
I think, it definitely feels more atmospheric.
Like I'd say by a lot because they do have like the same little. They show the victims as jump scares the same way they do in the first movie, but with this one, I feel like it's way more effective because it's in like a camp setting. It's in a campy setting, just like Friday the 13th is. So I feel like that kind of helped it as well. Yeah. Because camps are because there's only so much you can do in a little dark room
for sure,
and you just pan the camera on the kids as they show up. You know what I'm saying? But what they under the beds, they in the woods, they in the ice, they
everywhere,
they in the snow. Yeah, exactly. So it's like I feel like those jump scares and the production was much more effective here than it was the first one. But I just think the story in the first one was just better,
with more focus,
more focused and cohesive.
Yeah, I agree. And one thing I will say about this movie is that, in my opinion, it definitely does tend to drag to a degree, just because it, like you said, it takes a little bit of time kind of building its premise up, which I think that's a good thing, but slightly to its detriment, because it kind of feels like it takes a while for it to get going, but once it gets going, but then it kind of like loses a little bit of momentum towards the end just because of how, like, I wouldn't say dragged out. It's with the dreams. Yeah. I wouldn't say dragged out, but just more sort of like, it takes its time.
Yeah.
It definitely takes its time, which it ain't a bad thing. It works.
Like I wasn't bored at all watching this movie. I mean, I was on my phone a lot because I didn't want to deal with all the jump scares and stuff and everything like that, and I don't want to be jumpy when I get home. But I really did enjoy this movie though. Like
for sure. Probably one of my favorite horror movies that's been released, especially in the month of October so far.
I'd say this movie is scarier than Weapons.
You think it's scarier than Weapons?
I think like overall when it comes to these scares, the jump scares are better than Weapons. But Weapons overall is definitely, I can see how it's definitely more disturbing.
I think it's a better movie for sure.
What,
I think Weapons is a better movie.
Oh, I'm about to say, I was...
Weapons. That's a scarier take than anything in the movie.
Yeah, exactly. No, Weapons definitely clears this movie in all sorts of categories.
For sure.
But that doesn't make this movie bad. I think this is my second favorite horror movie of the year, and to be honest, we ain't seen that much of them.
I mean, we have a few. We have Megan, Sinners.
Ooh, never mind. I might have said third favorite.
Sinners is up there on my list. I did like Sinners.
Yeah. Sinners might still be my movie of the year. It's between that and Weapons right now.
Yeah, I agree. Sinners for me, like even though I gave it some criticism that I didn't love it as much as other people, that's kind of like how a lot of people saw Shador Sanders. People saw Shador Sanders. People loved him. He's a great football player. But overall, for me, I just wasn't like jumping for joy with it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But I still enjoy watching the movie. You know what I'm saying? I still love it.
For sure.
I just not as much as everybody else. But I keep saying that. But anyway, Sinners is definitely like it's hard. It's tough for me to put Sinners.
And it set the bar early.
It did. I don't know where to put it. But it's definitely top 2 for sure.
Oh,
I arguably say I like it more than Weapons too. To be honest,
that's a conversation. Right
because
there.
I think like not to sidetrack for a little bit. I think where this movie ranks, Black Phone 2 definitely third. Like it's not.
It would have to be third. Yeah, for me.
Yeah, because Sinners was easy 9, 8 or 9, 8 or 8.5, 9 for me. Weapons was like a 9. It was like a 9 for me. Wow, this movie is more like
Weapons was a 9.5
for you,
for me at least.
But Weapons, I mean, this movie Black Phone is definitely like third, 8, like 7.5, 8. Well, I'd like sometimes like there's moments in the Sinners where I give it a 9 and 9 out of 10, and then sometimes I'll just give it like an 8.9 out of 10.
See, because I think that these three movies kind of embody like different levels of like the horror experience in Hollywood. Right. Sinners to me is more of like that blockbuster sort of like action oriented sort of like Sinners like sort of blockbuster sort of feel. I feel like Weapons is more of that sort of like A24-esque sort of elevated horror, and this is more sort of like that popcorn sort of like casual audience type of movie. Still done well though. Right. Blumhouse has always kind of done that where they kind of made more of those kind of like that kind of movie to where it's like, you know, you just kind of like, hey, that's something to watch, not in a bad way.
Yeah, not in a bad way.
Still very well done.
But if you're gonna watch it sitting on the couch with your girl or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's what I hate to say it, but that's what Black Phone 2 is. Black Phone 1 was definitely go see this in theaters. This is good. Yeah, this is quality right here.
Yeah, I feel like this is the same though. I feel like Black Phone 2 is the same. I feel like it did its thing.
All right.
No disrespect to it whatsoever. For me,
yeah, same here.
I give it a high heat. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie.
I give it that.
It was good. It was really good.
I give it an extremely high something to watch. I have to give it this one like a low. It's either a high something to watch or like a very, very low heat for me.
That's a tough critic right there.
Because it's like, man, it has so many good elements in this movie, but it has the same functions of sequelitis in it as well. That
bigger and tried to be better.
Bigger and tried to be better, but just didn't land in a lot of ways. It's just I'll give this right now a 7.5. If I watch it again, it might go higher. But I have a bad feeling that if I see this movie again, I'm not going to like it as much. It's like Eternals.
Yeah. Well, I ain't never.
Eternals like wasn't great by any means, but the more that I've watched, exactly. The more that I watch Eternals, the more I'm like, this getting bad. Let me just stop. Let me quit while I'm ahead.
Nah, because this movie, I remember we saw it and like I didn't like it. I knew I didn't like it before it was even done. Before it was even happening. I knew I didn't like it.
Like for me, Eternals was like a high, a mid something to watch.
I wouldn't even say that.
It was just something to watch. Like, but is it though? If I'm being honest with myself,
this was the first big MCU miss for me.
Yeah,
this was the first big miss, and was it a miss?
Was it worse than Quantumania?
They're in the same ballpark for me.
Quantumania was good for me. I enjoyed it. I mean, it's not up there with all my other favorite Marvel movies, but it's up there with the something to watch.
The only thing that was worth it.
It's up there with the something to watch.
The only thing that made it worth anything was Kang, and then that got thrown out anyways.
So even with that, they had a whole lineup set up. And not to get sidetracked, but
I'm not gonna get into that because y'all know my opinion on that.
But overall, I ain't really got too much more to say about Black Phone 2. I think that, especially like if you're looking for a horror movie to like kind of get into this season to kind of like experience that horror atmosphere, this is definitely what you need to get in the theater for. Definitely.
I 100% agree.
Yeah, I'm with that.
Yeah, but with that being said, man, I've been Jay.
This has been Rodney.
It's been Zai.
And we are L-A-T-D, man. Some more videos coming soon. Frightening Friday.
Yes, sir.
Woeful Wednesdays. Terrifying Tuesdays. With all that being said, y'all remember always, please look at the details and God bless you.